In this video, I'm going to teach you how to find and research pre-foreclosures. I am going to be talking about the state of Florida, but it's going to be similar no matter where you are, especially if you're in a judicial foreclosure state. I want to start off with a trivia question. What is the very first time the general public is made aware of a pending lawsuit against a homeowner? Well, if you said lis pendens, you are correct. The lis pendens, which is Latin for suit pending, is the first time the public is notified of a pending lawsuit, which is generally a pending foreclosure. Let's take a look at the Wikipedia definition of lis pendens. Okay, so lis pendens is an official public notice that a property has a pending lawsuit or claim attached to it, which is going to be the foreclosure action. Okay, lis pendens can only be filed if a claim is related specifically to the property. However, most laws specify that a property owner must assume any litigation associated with it. Lis pendens are common in divorce cases where spouses are divvying up assets, or in cases in which a home is up for foreclosure after a borrower defaults on a mortgage. Okay, now that we understand what lis pendens means, there's going to be two different websites you're going to need to find and bookmark for whichever county you're going to be working in. And the first site you want to go to is you want to go to your property appraiser's website. So you can simply Google like Bay County Property Appraiser. It's going to pull it up. And you also want to find the clerk of the court's website. Okay, this is where all your official records are going to be stored online and where you're going to find all this information that you're going to need for these properties. I want to show you this other website that you can use where you don't have to Google each individual county. Now, Googling the county and the property appraiser or the clerk of the court's website is an easy way to do it, but this website you definitely want to bookmark and use it whenever possible. Okay, you can go to Google, or I use DuckDuckGo, type in your county property appraiser. You want to find the site and you just want to bookmark it. You can go ahead and go in property search if you want. So bookmark your property appraiser site because you're going to have to go back and forth from this to the other clerk of the court's website. So now do your clerk of the court, county clerk of the court. Now these are the two sites you want to use. The clerk of the court is going to have all your official records, and it's going to have your foreclosure auction, which I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Okay, that was the Google way. Now let me show you how to find the other website. All you want to do is go into your search bar and put in NETR online. And this is what you're looking for, www.netronline.com. Once you open it up, there's all kind of information on here. We just want to go to the Public Records Online, access Public Records Online, and here's all your states. So we're going to choose Florida, and I'm going to click on Bay County. And look right here, you've got your Bay Clerk Recorder's Office, phone number, your tax collector, and your property appraiser, all right here. So this one site is going to give you all the links you need, and you really only need these two, the appraisers and the recorders. Just to show you, it takes you right to the official records page. Before we look at how we're going to research the lis pendens and the pre-foreclosures, I want to go ahead and show you what the actual mortgage foreclosure calendar looks like. Now this can be found on every county's clerk of the court's website here in the state of Florida. And it's going to generally be on their main page. It's very easy to find, but this is where you need to go to see what's been scheduled already. Because if a property is 2 to 3 to 4 weeks out or longer, there's plenty of time to do research and figure out if you want to try to bid on it and buy it at the courthouse, or if you want to try to get a hold of the owners and work out some deal or try to help them or talk to them. This is where you want to go to see what has been scheduled. Now remember one quick thing, these properties can be removed from this auction, from this website at any time, even up to the day of this scheduled sale. So there's no guarantee ever that the property is actually going to go through the foreclosure process and be foreclosed on this given date here on the calendar. Just remember that, it's real important. Okay, so this is the clerk of the courts for Bay County. Bay County is where Panama City Beach is. So we're going to look at the actual auction and the calendar. So you can see on their main page right here in the middle is your foreclosure auctions. You just want to click on it, and every site in the county is going to be a little bit different, but for the most part they're going to be very, very similar. You just need to know what's specific for each county. And here's your view auction calendar. So this is where you want to go to see what properties are already scheduled. So let's just look at something for the end of March. This is, so it's showing you there's 2 on the docket. It's going to show you all their information on the property right here. It's going to show you the assessed value, plaintiff's max bid. Sometimes it won't have a plaintiff's max bid because they might not have one, or they're not going to make it public because the property might not be in the best of condition. Okay, so let's look at another one. This is on the 27th. Okay, so here's a good example right here. You got a plaintiff max bid of $86,000, but you got assessed value of $101,900. Now, I have no idea anything about these properties. Here's your final judgment amount. Now, one thing about these, you got to remember, this isn't going to be perfectly correct because they're going to add interest onto this. Whatever the date that the final judgment was recorded, from that date until the date of the sale, and that might be 20 days, 30 days, there's going to be daily interest. So that can be added on to this max bid, actually. So if you want to pinpoint exactly where the bank's going to end up being, and they show you something like this, you need to go back and figure out what the per diem is, and that's going to be found inside the final judgment paperwork. It's going to tell you how much per diem, how much interest they're charging, and take that and divide it by 365, then whatever times, how many days between that recorded final judgment amount and the actual date of the sale. Okay, so now you know how to look up the foreclosure auction calendar in any county in the state of Florida. Next, let's take a look at list pendens. Remember, this is the first time that the public has been put on notice, and this is the first time you're going to see anything on a homeowner recorded in the county records. I'm going to go back to the NETR website, and we're going to start from there. So on the NETR website, we're going to go back to our public records. I'm going to go to Florida. I'm going to go to Bay County. I'm going to go back to my clerk recorder's website. And what you want to do is you want to go click on document. Then you want to go under all categories and find list pendens. Now you can search any dates you want to. I'm just going to do the last 90 days for this demonstration. Okay, and there you go. You've got 113 records total. Now, of course, not all of these are going to be banks that are foreclosing. Some of them are going to be individuals. Some of them are going to be private investors. Some of them are going to be local LLC companies. Some of them are going to be contractors. Some of these are going to be HOA. So not all these are going to be banks. Now, what I do is I go up here and I want to export this file into a spreadsheet. And what I like to do is I like to take all the ones I don't want to mess with, I don't want to see, or, I want to clean my spreadsheet up, basically. All I want left are the banks. So any of these, I'm just going to go through, I'm just going to delete them. Just because, like I said, I'm trying to clean mine up. So once I get all these, I'm only going to have bank properties left. Now you can go and when you start doing your research, you can put in the address. You're not going to see the address on the spreadsheets. You're going to see your legal description, your file number, and your booking page, which really isn't a huge thing. You can save that or you can delete those. I mean, you really don't need them. But the recorded date. So this is the date that the actual list pendens was filed. Now remember, all this means is the homeowner is behind on payments. You don't know how much they are, how far behind they are, but you know it's long enough for the institution to file the list pendens. The next step, if nothing's done and payments aren't made in, I would say, just a couple of months, they're going to file and they're going to get their final judgment. The final judgment is the big one. It's the one that dictates the date of the sale and how much the bank is going to get back from the sale. Very important. Once that's filed, your date has been scheduled. But this is the point right here with list pendens. This is the very first point that the general public is ever notified. This is why you want to search for list pendens, okay? We know right now any of these properties on this list that have Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Nation Star, all these, we know these people are not making their payments for whatever reason. Another thing I like to do is I like to try to put mine in alphabetical order. It makes it a little bit easier when you're going through yours and you can see how many Nation Star has, or here's a PNC Bank, Penny Mac, Regions. I think there was United States of America. So I haven't researched any of these or looked, but these are probably going to be federal tax liens. That's what I would guess. There's your Wells Fargo. So that's how you find your list pendants. Now, a lot of people are going to do is they're going to make mailing lists. They're going to send mailers out, maybe do drive-bys, see if you can possibly get a hold of the owner. Because remember, this is the first stage of foreclosure right here. So this is the very beginning, the first time you can get a hold of people or in front of people that you know are behind on their payments. Okay, now you know how to look up a property on the foreclosure auction calendar. You also know how to look up list pendants. So next, I'm going to pick a property and show you how to start the research. So the first thing you've got to do is find the address of the property. And the easiest way to do that is go back to your list and pick a property. So I'm going to use this first one here with Wells Fargo. And what I want to do is I want to actually just use their last name first, okay? I'm not going to use the first name because the simpler you keep it, the easier you'll pull up the information. So I'm going back to the NETR website. I'm going to click on the property appraiser site. So once it pulls it up, I'm going to enter the name. I only have the last name, so let's see. There shouldn't be too many with this last name. And here it is right here, Melissa A. So we pull this up. We're going to get our property address, all our information here from the county website. We're going to get our assessed values. We're going to get our building data. So this house was built in 1930 originally. And it's only 892 heated square feet. So the living square feet, it's only going to be 892. So not a very big house at all. This county website's really nice. They give you a lot of good information. So you get your extra features. You've got your land information. It's 100 feet by 125 feet. You have when they bought it back in 07. You've got permits here. You've got a re-roof permit. You've got your sketches of the building. You've even got a little picture of it. So that's how you find the address. You want to get the name from the lawsuit, from the list pendants, go back to your county property appraiser's site and put in the name to pull up the address. Now that I have the address, I can go on to do other type of research, like I can start looking for liens against the homeowners and stuff like that. That's going to wrap up this video. Hope it was helpful and you learned something. It's not that hard a process to get this information to start building your property list, what you're wanting to look at, what you're thinking about possibly investing in, and where you want to put your time and effort, and maybe your money getting a title search. Okay, well, until the next video, I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks and have a great day.